Spirituality is not a contest. Probably the worst thing you could possibly get your ego involved with is spirituality. It doesn't matter how gifted you are, what you've experienced. It's not worth it to compare yourself to others. Whether you're trying to look at somebody who's not as far along the path as you are, somebody who's less awake than you are, or you're comparing yourself to somebody more awake than you are, it doesn't matter. We're all at different places in our path. We all have different journeys. Some people are going to go super fast. Some people are going to go slow. Some people haven't even started yet, but they're going to pass you up when they do. It doesn't matter. We're all going to the same place. Time's not real. Doesn't matter. Comparison, there's no point in it. There's this place called the BioCybernaut Institute, and they study alpha waves in the brain. They have this program where they put the sensors on your head and they detect your alpha waves, and then you can use the feedback. It plays a noise that shows you so you can hear how high your alpha waves are, and you can use that as your guide during meditation to get your alpha waves as high as possible. And alpha is joy. Alpha is very connected to the siddhis, as the Hindus call them, the powers. So they had somebody in there and he was getting his alpha very high, and he could hear the people that were watching and monitoring the equipment, and they were saying, wow, he's doing so good, he's doing amazing. And then he let that feed his ego, and he got into like thinking, oh, I'm so cool, I'm so good. And then it crashed his alpha waves. So getting in your ego is a direct impediment to your spiritual progress. And I also want to say, just as a disclaimer, you don't do this, you don't get into this so you can do things and be cool. That's not the point. That is not the point. You do this so you can why do you do this? Initially I started doing this because life was suffering and I knew it didn't need to be suffering. But after the suffering abates, what else is there? Eventually it reaches a point where there's nothing else but to help others. It becomes of just being of service. If we were going to make this a contest, spirituality, the real points would be how many people have you shown, how many people have you helped, how many people have you helped find their personal path in life, how many people have you helped find their way, how many people have you helped connect to God, how many people have you guided to their hearts. Because that's the big thing. You get people connected to God and they don't need anybody anymore. Those would be the points on the board if we were going to make this a contest. Contests should be silly and fun. Once it starts becoming ego and like I'm better than you, we lost the plot. There's nothing there. If what I'm saying doesn't resonate, then just leave it. It's not for you. It's okay. The only thing that should give me any credence to you should be the truth coming out of my mouth. If it doesn't feel true to you, then it's all right. Just let it go. Flick the screen. It's not for you. It's fine. It doesn't matter. I do not need to provide any credentials. Yeah. I do not need to list off the experiences I've had in my life. Oh, my connection to God is so strong. It doesn't matter, dude. It's not about that. Even the fly agrees. It's not about that. I had an experience recently that showed to me pretty intimately why in the Bible it speaks about not worshiping idols. And I wasn't trying to worship an idol, but it's like you have an energy flow through your body and it can go, imagine it like a river, it can go one way or the other. And if you let the flow of your energy through your root and up and out, If you let that go into something external to you, when that same energy is meant to be going to your higher self, to the next dimensions, to the divine, and up to God, if you're letting it go the other way, you're cutting yourself off. You don't need to do anything. You can do whatever you want. This is just my experience. The thing I need to do, personally, I think I need to do is, so it's like I could be sending that energy and sending that love to the divine, and then I'll be receiving it back amplified. And then that drives me through my journey on this world. If I'm cutting that off and stemming that flow, sending it to something external where it's just going down the drain, then that's where I'm gonna be. That's where I'm gonna stay. And that's kind of just like if you get in your ego and you plant your flag here. Oh, this is where I am, and I'm so great for being here. And and all the people who aren't here, you suck. That's when you do that with your ego, that's as far as you are. That's where you're gonna be. You're just gonna. I won't go too far into that, but it's ludicrous. There's always something higher. I believe it's very important to be like a child, especially when you're going down a spiritual path and you're trying to awaken, you're trying to expand your sensitivities, you're trying to expand your senses to all that's out there. Be like a child. Don't let your ego try to decide it needs to be like this, or I want it to be like this, and if it's not like this, I'll be upset. You are funneling all possibility into this little thing that is all that your ego can imagine. Or you could be like a child, eyes open, and accepting of anything that comes. Now you're open to all possibilities. You're open to the universe. You're open to allow whatever is aligned to come to you. And it's probably going to be way cooler than what your ego wanted it to be like. Those are just some basic things. Some basic things. And if this doesn't strike the chord of truth for you, swipe the screen, change the video. It's fine. I'm not going to try to convince you. I had a couple weird experiences lately. People wanting to go band for band spiritually. And that is such an outrageous thing. Like, oh my God. To speak for my ego for a second, my connection with God is awesome. And also, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who is saying what. If they're speaking truth, they're speaking truth. Really, the fastest thing that accelerated my progress and my awakening, my opening of the eyes, was paying attention to where what I was doing was creating a repeat, where it was pay special attention to those things that trigger you and those things you don't want to look at about yourself. Those are the things you definitely need to look at. I keep saying need. If you want to accelerate, you should look at those things. Pretty much everybody has them. And that's another thing about ego is like, don't be getting on your ego high horse. Because for other people, it is so easy to see where you're blind. So that's why it's like a little chicken strutting around on his little hill, is that everybody can see. Some people can see,